Hi, General Chemistry. This is Mr. Trimuka uh, talking to you about the last week of school we got here. Right, so looking towards this week here, many of you are finishing up the fish kill project. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that here, give you a little bit of feedback as to how you may want to attack a few things here, so to speak, and we'll see how it goes. All right, so. Uh, let's take a look at this if we can, and see what's happening. So if we get to part 3 of the fish kill, okay, get to that. Make sure that you, of course, are reading everything. If you are responding in any way, typing on the document, please use a different color to type with, to respond with. Just helps your answers pop out a little bit better, so I can see exactly what you may have added to the document. So I think that's a pretty important thing. Be articulate with your ideas. Be thorough with your ideas. Just looking through the first couple of assignments, that is one thing I think was in some cases lacking. In others, you just kick some butt. It was great. But the more you put into the different parts of the project, the easier this final week will be for sure. So let's take a look at that a little bit. All right. So, of course, go down here, going down to, well, let's see where that's, I guess I just kind of lost everything. Okay, there we go. So, you get down here a little bit, maybe a couple pages into it, whatever it might be. You got some highlighted information there, and that just has 3 questions to you. These are very specific questions. Now, you can choose to jot down your answers right there if you want to, or you can put them on a different sheet of paper or something like that. You do not have to turn in part 3. You do not have to turn that in for me. Okay. You can, but I'm really not super concerned about it because these questions here are making you summarize everything you've learned so far. Read the questions, answer them thoroughly, of course. Okay. But you're going to take the answers to that and essentially put it into your summative slideshow. Okay. Now, so answer those things very carefully. Okay. When I say, especially for number 1 here, which scenario makes the most sense based on the data above, and look back at all the questions you answered in task 3. That would be part 2. Okay. So the part 2 document was task 3. Maybe the wording on our question here is a little off, but it's the part 2 assignment where you had all the different graphs to utilize to answer a few questions. Anyway, so you look at all those questions and pick one scenario you feel comfortable supporting. So what are the scenarios? Well, those are your 4 scenarios right here. What caused the fish kill? The molecular substance in the water, low oxygen, heavy metal or mercury poisoning in the water, or gas bubble trauma. So you should have already summarized those as to what's going on here. Here are some also partial summaries. But anyway, there you go. Based on what you have learned, which scenario caused the fish kill. Okay. So you definitely want to look at that based on all the data that you have collected. Then you got a couple other questions. Number 2 is, why does the scenario make the most sense as the cause? And list at least 5 different reasons and cite specific data. So why does that scenario, these are your 4 scenarios. We've talked about that, right? Those are your 4 scenarios. And give me some reasons why that's the case, and give specific data as to why you think that supports your thought on that. Okay. And then number 3, why do the other 3 scenarios not make sense? So if you pick one of these 4, then the other 3 don't make so much sense to you. Well, why is that? Okay. Why can you eliminate them, so to speak? Okay. So you want to give at least 2 reasons and cite specific data for each of the 3 unlikely scenarios. Now, there is a right answer to this. I'm not going to tell you what that is right now, but there is a right answer to this. So, in other words, I'm looking for a specific answer to number 2 and to number 3. So you need to have basically analyzed that pretty carefully. So once you have that figured out, now you can do the slideshow. Okay. Now the slideshow is right here. Okay. It says use this template. Just click on that, and it's going to have you go to a Google Doc. Well, I'm going to pull one up. I already have one up here. But before I get to that, make sure you read this stuff in blue. Prepare for the town council meeting. Okay. You're going to be making a presentation to the town council or hall meeting, town hall meeting about your findings. And you're going to pick one of the scenarios that makes sense and explain based on your data. And you'll also be placing blame on one of the groups from part 2 for not monitoring their data. So who is at fault here? Okay, so what caused it and who's at fault? Why do you believe that? Why do you believe the other 3 scenarios don't make sense? These are all things that will be covered in your slideshow. Now, how are you going to be scored on this here slideshow? Well, your your rubric is down here. Definitely take a look at that. I'll just be printing out a bunch of those when I go through your finished product and kind of going through things, writing comments if I need to, checking off the boxes where you meet them, so to speak. So that's what's going to be happening there. I probably am not going to share every single thing with you online necessarily, but if I score that and get that into the grade book, and you'll see that and you're not sure why, obviously get a hold of me even after this week, whatever the case may be, and we can talk about it if necessary. Let me show you the slideshow I'm talking about here, all right, folks? So get to the slideshow, and I've shown this before in a previous video or so. But if you look at this, it's just a template. You can add slides to it. There are 5 there, but you can feel free to add as many as you want. You can doctor this up as much as you want to. Make sure you get your name there. Don't just leave it name, right? Okay. But anyway, you get to that, and I'm going to go on slide 2. Well, this is the slide. Hey, what happened? Well, you tell me what happened. Now, at the bottom of each of these, I have some guiding questions, or you could say statements in some cases, that allow you to figure out what it is that I'm kind of looking for. What should you talk about there? So it says which scenario makes the most sense and what occurred in the scenario. Okay, so what happened? What caused the fish kill, essentially? What do you believe, based on your research, what caused the fish I can talk real easy today. The fish kill, and what happened to allow that scenario to take place. Okay, so you got that. How do you know this? Again, has some specific things down here for you to read. I'm not going to go through all of them because they're not always showing up. Okay, but you may want to include a graph or 2 or 3 to help you through this scenario. This is a big one here. Okay, you have 5 reasons or piece of data to support your claim. You probably want to add a couple of slides to this. Well, maybe not. It's up to you, but I'll let you figure it out. All right. By the way, you can doctor up the text. You can doctor up the backgrounds. Make sure it's readable. Okay, obviously, but otherwise, yeah, you can kind of make it as stylistic as you want to. Anyway, it says what didn't happen and how do you know? So this is where you talk about the other 3 scenarios that you do not believe caused the fish kill. Okay, and use data to help support why those probably were not the reason. Okay, you can say, oh, this, and this did not occur, and then if you just leave it blank, you're not backing yourself up. To me, that seems like more of a guess than actual, research. So make sure that you're taking care of that. If you want some good points on that, you should be good. Okay. Again, you can make as many of those slides as you want to. The conclusion, summarize which group is responsible for the fish kill. So in conclusion, you can talk about what you found and who is responsible for it. What group is guilty of being negligent? That's really what it comes down to on this one. So take a good look at that. You can add other pictures wherever you want to. Makes no difference to me. If you doctor it up, make the pictures there. It just livens it up and makes it more enjoyable to go through, right? So that's what I'm kind of looking for. Now, you can just do the slideshow, and that's fine. If you would rather talk over your slideshow, you put your slideshow together, and then you use Screencastify to narrate over it, that's great too. That's fine. It's not required, but it's certainly okay if you do that. Okay. And I'm fine with that. Okay. So there you go. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Please get a hold of me, and then I'll answer whatever I can. Okay. But otherwise, that's it. That's all we got for chemistry for this year. All right. So finish strong this week, and hopefully you get through it, and are able to earn that grade you've been striving for the whole time. So stay healthy, stay safe. What else can I say? Just have a great summer. If I don't send out a message, have a great summer. Feel free to stop by 201 anytime. say hi in the hallways, whatever the case may be. Once we get back to what I hope will be normal next fall, so we will see what happens there, and that's all I got. So, anyways, peace out.